Good morning, folks. Hey, TGIF. Thank you for joining me for episode 60 of Soapbox Daily. Hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan, and thank you for joining me on this Friday. TGIF. Yes, we made it through another week. It is excellent. We survived another week. We are not well into, but a little portion into October. So that means, the booze and the scaries and everything else are showing up at the end of the month. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for Halloween? That's the question. So today, I was thinking about this, and for this Friday, we're going to go out. I don't know if it's necessarily on a depressing note. I don't necessarily think it's depressing, but I just had some, recent changes in my life, and I had a colleague pass away a couple weeks back, which kind of sucked because he seemed to be a good guy, but it just got me thinking about a few things, especially when I heard the attendance when it came to his funeral. So I guess the question for today is how many people do you think will come to your funeral? That's the question for today. How many people do you think will come to your funeral? And I guess the other question is, hey, how is your integrity today? Are you having a good integrity day? Did you have a good integrity week? Did you set the positive example and be the change the world needs this week? Hey, well, if it wasn't for this week, then try again next week, but try to be the positive and good change in the world that the world needs. Also, please check out getoffmysoapbox.com for more information on this show and our long format show of Get Off My Soapbox. So let's get on with today's episode of Soapbox Daily. So I guess the question comes down to is that how many people do you think you want at your funeral? I think that's what the question is, but it's not necessarily a popularity contest. But let's be realistically, attendance at funerals is a function of the deceased age mostly. I mean, that's the reality of it. It's a function of the deceased age. If you die young, under 55, the room will be packed. Hands down. You die young, there's going to be a lot in attendance. And if you die old, like say over 90, then hardly anybody will remember you unless you are world famous at some point in your life. That's it. That's the reality of it. It's just because you die young doesn't mean you're popular. But I guess that leads to the question of, would you want all these people showing up to your funeral? And of course, the same people that didn't even bother with you in real life when you were alive, would you want them at your funeral? Personally, me, no. I wouldn't want them at my funeral. If they couldn't be bothered with me when it came to my life and my living years, why would I want them showing up at my funeral? To show some fake condolences, to show some fakeness to the rest of the world that, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry, but if you didn't bother with me in life, don't bother with me at my funeral. I mean, for me, I plan on living forever, but regardless, I just don't necessarily, it's not a popularity contest. I'm not going to, I never have done the dance to want to be popular when it came to life. I walk my own walk. I talk my own talk. I blaze my own trail, so to speak. So that doesn't line up with a lot of people, which doesn't necessarily make me the most popular guy in the room. But, I'm thinking about my colleague here, and it's interesting. It's interesting when I heard, and I hear more and more from colleagues and people that seem to actually attend this guy's funeral. And he was, in his 30s, I think, at best? Maybe early 40s? But, I guess I look at death a little differently than most people do. I don't look at it as an ending. I look at it as, okay, you're no longer here in this life, in this physical plane, but you'll move on to the next one. I look at a lot of characteristics. I mean, part of me is like, why didn't I go to the funeral? Well, I didn't go to the funeral because him and I didn't get along, and I just thought that would be in poor taste. And frankly, I don't go to friends' funerals. I don't go to anybody but families' special events. That's just the way I am. But I don't know. This guy screwed up his own life and caught up with him. So, I think that's kind of interesting, especially since I had another colleague pass away years back, and he didn't get quite the reception because he was a trailblazer too. He wasn't looking for the popularity. He wasn't looking to be everybody's buddy like my recent colleague that passed away, and he didn't get the turnout. And it's like, wow, okay, so hang on for 1 second. So you be a sheep and you do the dance and everything else, and you try to be Mr. Popular just so you can have a turnout at your funeral. I don't know. I think everybody should look at everybody individually and say, hey, you know what? You deserve to be remembered, good and bad. End of story. Boom. But for me personally, I don't know about you folks. How many people do I want to be at my funeral? I only want the people that matter to be at my funeral. The people that truly love me, the people that truly will remember me. Those are the people I want at my funeral. And I know it's a little depressing, this topic going into a Friday, but hey, what my point is that be who you are. Don't try to please the majority. Keep in touch with those people that matter to you, the family and friends and loved ones, those people that truly do matter, and enjoy them with the time that we have. Let's enjoy them now. Not worry about our funerals, because you know what? At your funeral, you're gone. You're passed on. You don't know what's going on. Man, I'm a poet. I didn't know it. But everybody else is there. And at that point, it's just one big show. I don't know. I would want to be very minimal. I wouldn't want a big funeral. I would just want my people that truly loved me to be there. And that's basically it. How about you? What do you think? What's your views on this? Please go over on Twitter and at Matt Soapbox and leave your opinions. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that. How do you feel about that? How many people would you want at your funeral? But other than that, hey, it is Friday. And let's wrap this weekend up. I think it's a long weekend for some, depending on where you are in the world because of Thanksgiving. Other parts of the world, not so much. That's a little later on. But hey, I want you to have a great day, a great Friday, and a great weekend moving forward. Watch your integrity. Keep your integrity in check. Be the positive change that the world needs. And onwards and upwards, folks. The future is bright. It's going to get better. It's going to be good. Well, let's just keep that in mind. Other than that, hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thank you very much for listening today. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you, and have a great weekend. And I will see you on Monday for our next episode. Bye for now.